injury report time. What is going on, y'all? Faiz Sports Talk back at it with another video talking, of course, my NFL here to talk about the Chicago Bears and give you guys the Bears' latest and greatest injury report heading into their Week 3 game against the Houston Texans. So if you are a Bears fan, make sure you hit that big red subscribe button down below. Year-round, season-long Bears coverage on this channel. You won't want to miss it. All right, so let's get into this, people. So we have surprisingly a lot of players on the injury report, and a number of them have already been ruled out, in case you guys do not know. So let's go through it right here, right now. These are the players that are already confirmed out for the Bears this weekend against the Texans. Linebacker Matt Adams is out with a hamstring injury. Tight end Ryan Griffin is out with an Achilles injury. And cornerback Dane Cruikshank is out with a hamstring injury. Now, let's talk about the guys that are questionable and doubtful. Velus Jones Jr., rookie wide receiver for the Bears, doubtful to play. Jalen Johnson, cornerback for the Bears, battling a quad injury. He is questionable officially, and so is linebacker Roquan Smith. He is questionable with a hip injury. All right, so a lot to dissect here. Let's start with the guys that are already out. Linebacker Matt Adams being out, to me, that basically is going to mean that we will elevate and let Jack Sanborn get some snaps here. And Jack Sanborn, if you guys remember, undrafted free agent that we signed, and he's a guy who looked really good in the preseason. So I'm actually excited for this because this is going to give him some playing time, and I think he's going to prove that hopefully preseason wasn't a fluke, and I think he's going to be a good addition out there. So I'm not too worried about the Matt Adams injury because I like the guy behind him in Jack Sanborn, and hopefully he comes out to play and he does really well. So I'm rooting for that. Let's move on to tight end Ryan Griffin. Now, this one is a bit of a bigger blow because you've got Cole Kmet, your starter, but then behind him, it was really just Ryan Griffin, right? And so now that you don't have your backup tight end, you're going to have maybe Jake Tongas, who's like a fullback tight end, quasi position. He gets maybe some snaps over at the tight end spot. We already have the guy that we picked up from the Jets. And then obviously you got Cole Kmet. The problem is Cole Kmet, not great at blocking. So that's the one area he lacks. He missed a lot of blocks in that Packers game. So that's the one thing. But, rest assured, he will be out there. We know that. But Ryan Griffin being out does hurt. And Ryan Griffin had a little bit of chemistry with Justin Fields in the preseason. You guys remember that. He caught a touchdown. So that does hurt a little bit. And then Dave Cruikshank out with the hamstring injury. Not too worried about that. He's a backup. He's more of a depth piece. So I don't think that hurts us that much. As far as Velus Jones Jr., folks, look, I want to just be patient, man. But it's getting frustrating at this point. I want Velus to be right, but he's dealing with a hamstring injury, and those are always tricky, especially for a guy who relies on his speed. But I need Velus to get in here real quick, man. Like, I'm seeing these rookie receivers making a lot of plays, like George Pickens and Drake London and Treylon Burks and all these guys. And I just want to see the Bears rookie receiver. All right. And I just want to see Velus Jones Jr. Hopefully we see him next week against the Jets. I think he's ramping up, but he's not going to play in this game. Doubtful basically means out. So we're not going to see Velus Jones Jr. for this week. And then our two studs, Jalen Johnson and Roquan Smith. Jalen was practicing, I think, he started practicing earlier this week, and then he kept getting downgraded. He was out on Friday, and Roquan didn't practice all week. But I think Roquan's going to play. That's the word I'm hearing, that Roquan will play. As far as Jalen, it's really up in the air. It's questionable. My gut tells me he probably plays here. But, man, if those guys are out for some reason, that's a big blow. Like, folks, I don't think you understand. Like, there's no such thing as an easy win for the Bears, all right, this season. So we take a look at the Texans. Like, the Texans can easily beat us in this game, especially if we don't have Jalen and Roquan. Like, that's a big blow to our team. Davis Mills has shown he's fairly solid. And then Brandon Cooks, I mean, he could torch the secondary for the Bears, just like how, the Packers were able to do so, picking on Kyler Gordon. Because if you're talking about Jalen being out, Kindle Vildor, right? Kyler Gordon, that's really your two starting cornerbacks. So, like, at that point, you're kind of worried. So, I know the Texans don't have an explosive offense or anything like that, but they can sneak in a win here, right? They can do some damage. They can score a little bit. So, I would be a little concerned about this. So, hopefully, Jalen plays. I think Roquan's going to play. And we know Velas is out, and Adams and Griffin and Cruikshank are out. So to me, as long as we have our best guys out there, hopefully we should still have enough to win. But obviously it doesn't help having those guys out. So let's cross our fingers, hope they play. There you have it, folks. The injury report for the Bears versus Texans on Sunday. Let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment down below.